Okay, welcome everyone to GPA Trading Services webinar, our presentation presenting the new MPA PE3 software. We're so pleased you could join us. Thank you so much. Let me introduce myself. I am Trish N. Albrecht. I'm the co-founder of GPA Trading Services. I'm the proud co-founder of GPA Trading Services. Thank you, Mike. And as we stated in the email notice that you received regarding today's webinar, we are proud to state that we are a high-end exclusive boutique style trading company. We're not your typical cattle call group. We are more exclusive and we pride ourselves on that. We offer very high-end, high-tech, cutting-edge products and services. And we have students from around the world that have been with us for many, many moons, which we are very proud of as well. We have a lovely, great group of students from around the world. So, we're so pleased you guys could join us. Those of you that have never been in front of us before, we just want to send a great big welcome to you. As we are, as I said in that email I sent out, we are a rare breed, Gary and I. We do things a bit differently. And we have a lot of fun along the way. We're very enthusiastic in everything that we do. Now, I'm also proud to say this is a picture that was taken just a few weeks ago. Gary and I just celebrated our 29th wedding anniversary, and people are really flabbergasted when they find out that we've been married 29 years. They say, wow, how can such a young, cute, happening couple be married 29 years? But it is the truth. And no plastic surgery involved. We just look that cute and young. But we are very proud to say that we've been married 29 years in this day and age. That's quite an accomplishment. And we went in honor of our 29th wedding anniversary. We went on a gorgeous Mediterranean cruise, and this picture was taken on the Mediterranean cruise. Our ship treated us to a lovely sushi meal at their sushi specialty restaurant. Sushi is one of our favorite dishes. And actually, while we were on the cruise, we took a sushi cooking class. And we shared pictures from our sushi cooking class with our members, along with a lot of pictures from our travels. We hit a lot of different countries and had a glorious time. That was just a couple weeks ago. So just thought I'd share that with you so you could see us celebrating our anniversary. And also, here is a screenshot of our website. If you have not had an opportunity to venture over to our website, here's a picture of our beautiful website. You can peruse the website. We have more pictures from our travels. We do travel a lot and enjoy travel. And also, you will see a picture of our GPA Trading Services mascots. I did not include a picture of our beautiful Pomeranian princesses, Fancy and Felicity, in today's presentation. We normally do, but that was an oversight on my part, but you can see them on our website. And now, as I said, today's topic is the exciting unveiling of the new MPA PE3 software. Very, very exciting to discuss that with you today. And also, we are firm believers in mantras. They're positive affirmations for you to focus on when you're trading or when you're doing any endeavor in life. And this one is very appropriate for today's webinar. The secret of success in life is for you to be ready for your opportunity when it comes. And I can say this with complete confidence. This is really an outstanding opportunity that we have for you today. Really, really, really outstanding opportunity, because we have thought of everything in this new software. Now, before we begin today's presentation, we must go through our disclaimer. As you know, trading involves risk. As we all know, trading involves risk, especially if you do not adhere to proper money management. You must always adhere to proper money management. You must always use stop losses. Do not risk money that you cannot afford to lose. We always state that very, very firmly. We're strong believers in following the rules. And all information provided today is for your educational purposes. All right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Gary and he's going to walk you through our wonderful new software, and then I'll come back on to discuss some other things with you later on in the presentation. So let me now say, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And here's Gary. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. As my wife just introduced, my name is Gary R. Albrecht. I'm the creator and mastermind behind the new Market Price Anticipator Premium Edition 3 software. As we are a unique trading firm, I'm actually the creator of the software, I'm the educator of the software, and I'm also the one that will instruct you on the software during our live trading classes. Here's a couple of screenshots, and then we'll get to the live action in just a moment. This is a screenshot on the Pound New Zealand utilizing the new automated breakout. Upper right corner, but clearly says it's the breakout pending order. And you set this during, in this case I did the London session, and I can set it in advance. So Mike, what does that mean? You can set it in advance. That means that, say, 6, 7 o'clock at night while I'm home, and I need to go to bed before the London Open. If you're in the US, the London Open's in the wee hours of the morning. So I can set it up 6, 7 o'clock at night to say, okay, I'm going to set it to go off the first hour of trading. It will then pop in a high and a low. Once the high and the low in that candle closes, which is highlighted in gray here, it gives me a high value and a low value, at which point it will pop in a pending order long and a pending order short. And then once price either goes up to reach and enter a long trade or down below the low to enter a short trade, it will automatically enter that trade, and then it will automatically cancel the other order automatically for you. And then once you reach your take profits 1s and 2s, it continues to manage the trade up and until you either close it or it reaches your last take profit, or it reverses and goes back to your original stop loss. The key is once you're in a trade, it automatically moves the stop loss from at risk to no risk, basically moving it into profit. So then you have a winning trade that can only end out in a winning trade. And as you can see in this example, and this was from yesterday, we have an entry that made 51 pips on take profit 1, 200 pips on take profit 2, and it was sitting there well over 200 plus pips as it was seeking out to take profit 3. Now down low, I don't know if you can see this, let me get my little pointer tool here. Down low we can see previous trades that had been entered, and these are all previous breakout trade. In each case they broke out making significant pippage, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pips, and they're all from the last few days, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. And they all were successful by simply taking these breakout trades as it broke to the upside and some longs, and then it broke to the downside and some shorts. And we use this during London, for example, that I set it to go off during that first hour of London trading. Well, the software is completely customizable in that I can tell it to go off during the first hour of stock trading, first hour of any market trading, and then it would automatically give me a high and a low and enter short trades or long trades accordingly once price moved and reached those levels. So that's just the last couple of days. We made literally thousands of pips this week. Here's another example, this time of the pound dollar, and this was again from today. It broke below and we're up 142.8 pips. Take profit 1 at 31 pips, take profit 2 at 75 pips, and currently it's running and ongoing, shooting for at this point 142 when this screenshot was taken. And you can see here's again these breakout trades, as we call them, that were set during London session, and they broke out, made significant pippage across the board. And in this example, the previous trade was 10,800. This one is 6,244 based on utilizing this new automated breakout system. Part of the new MPA PE3 software. Of course, We have students that have been with us utilizing the software for years now, and of course we do upgrade along the way, but this is an individual that trades out of TradeStation utilizing the software signals, and he was able to accumulate 8,600 pips. As you can add up all of these different trades that were running, tally over 8,600 pips. He went on to let those continue to run utilizing another one of our tools called the Slice of Heaven scanner, and that 8,600 pips then turned into 18,311 pips by simply watching the direction of the trend, allowing the software to continue to let winning trades run, and of course if you add up all of these totals, that totals over 18,300 pips. So making pips is easy when you utilize this new software. Now, enough of screenshots. Let's go into the live markets and show you what's been going on with this exciting new software. So can everyone give me a yes when you see the chart and my cursor? So everyone can see the euro dollar chart on the weekly right now. Everyone see that? Make sure everyone can see that. Okay, thank you. And this was a trade I entered earlier this week. We're up over 300 pips. Take profit 1 was 33. Take profit 2 was 326. We hit take profit 2 this morning, and we're expecting take profit 3 to go down to the previous low of 104.61. So I have that outstanding sitting there running. Now again, here are all these trades we mentioned, ongoing, pound, euro, different trades in here, and it's up to 17,300 plus on setting this automated trade system to manage these trades. Now as I close this so you can see the big screen, what's so unique about the software, it's on-screen programming. So now that we're up over 600, or in this case 300 plus pips and counting, having banked pips along the way, we know that as price will stair step. Why does price always stair step? Even in a downtrend or an uptrend, it tends to stair step. That's because of cycling time frames. The software shows you the cycles based on the trend momentum and the price action indicator. So why did I know to get in this trade A and then to allow it to run for hundreds of pips? Well, the weekly right now you can clearly see as it's ticking live. You can see it's still moving while the markets are still open. My weekly trend momentum and PAI are pointing down. My monthly is engaging down. That stands and bodes well for further downside on the euro. When I have a monthly down, I have a weekly trend momentum and PAI down, and currently the daily has been pushing lower as well. And we were not going to get into this today, but this is called a slingshot. It's when the lower time frames depressurize from oversold, then turn back in the direction of the higher time frames, in this case to the downside. We're able to sell these type of trades automatically by scheduling in a trade management system to tell it, hey, by the way, when this daily decides to engage that, I want you to sell that because I'm expecting price to make some new lows. So again, once I'm up major pips, then on-screen programming, instead of letting this potentially reverse from 300 pip gain back to in reverse and pip you out for profit, you can actually click and then move your stop loss down into deeper profits. So notice as I move this down and I lock it in place, my stop loss is now only 100 and something pips to the stop loss. As a moment ago, it was up in my break-even +1 category of 300 plus pips. See the difference? So I'm able to lock in profits during a live trade. And I still expect, with the monthly slingshot engaging down I showed you, here it is on this little console, telling us that we expect much further downside, and we call this follow the line of progression. As the time frames cycle up and down, go from oversold to overbought, overbought to oversold, back and forth, the only way that process is interrupted is through this phenomenon called slingshots. Well, as my wife mentioned, we have thought of everything. So what happens if I know I'm at my chart and I see this start to engage down? I can sell it instantly. or I can set it in advance to tell the trade management system to go into and then trade that based on my entry criteria. So once I'm in the insert in my input state, I put the number of lots, number of stop loss, take profits, etc. And here I can then tell it to take profit triggers short, profit triggers long, slingshots, all that's in here. So everything is included all the way down throughout this trade management system. And it's completely customizable. So this is part of the new software, and this is just showing an ongoing winning trade. Also, as I pull this next slide up, I believe it's in this platform. I have several platforms open at the moment. This is the live trade, as I mentioned, from the take profits on the pound dollar as it broke out during London and then continued dramatically lower once non-farm payroll was released. And it too slingshotted lower on that hourly, as reason being my 4-hour was still pushing lower. My daily was certainly moving lower, trend momentum and PAI moving lower. My weekly, I just mentioned, is clearly turning and hooking out and moving lower. And the monthly is engaging down. So all I'm doing in this case is looking for the direction of the trend, and I combine the direction with the price action and the trend momentum, and then based on that information, I set my trade management system accordingly. So as I go back to the hourly time frame, you'll notice up top this says it's a breakout pending order. So how do I set that in advance? I mentioned on that screenshot. You'll right key click, go to Expert Advisor, and simply fill in the information. The number of lots I want to trade, my stop loss, my take profits, 25, 50, 150, 200, 300, whatever they may be. And then down at the bottom, it tells me which hour do I want that breakout candle to be assessed from. And in this case, it's your local time. So those of you that are in London, you would use it for the first hour of London trade in your local time. Well, I'm in United States and I'm in a central time zone, so I set it for 2. What does that mean? That means at 2 a.m. the candle is going to open, you start to work on a high and a low, so which represents the first hour of London trading. At the close of that 2 a.m. candle, which will be 3 a.m., it pops in a high and it pops in a low. At which point the high and the low is designated, then it puts in a pending long and a pending short. And then it'll sit there until either price goes up to enter your long trade or price goes down to enter your short trade. And here we entered this down due to price breaking the low. And once it entered the pending short, it automatically canceled the pending long, OCO, and it's letting the winning trade continue to run. But notice again, it's still on-screen programming. As my stop loss is still way up here, I can click, drag it down deeper into profits, and my take profit 3 is pretty much off the screen of this 1-hour chart. It's way down here, as I'm expecting the pound to go down to that 45 previous low as we stair-step lower in the coming days/weeks. And why do we feel confident the pound is going to continue to stair-step lower? Because again, it's simple. All I need to do is look at my time frames and look at the direction of what the price action and the trend momentum are moving in. When price is both moving up, price goes higher. When price is both moving, trend momentum PI are moving down, price goes lower. And I watch how this cycling time frames delivers these long-term trades that you'll see hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of pips, because I'm following the cycles of those higher time frames. And my weekly says we're going down further for weeks to come, and my monthly is engaging down, saying we're going down further. So that's why you can see I have a take profit 3 down here at that previous swing point low that we would expect. Well, what happens if I still have my weekly and monthly down? Then I can just double click here, click once, move my take profit 3 deeper and deeper into profit, make it further out. In just a moment it'll tick, and now it shows my take profit 3 is at 135. It was 145. Now it's at 135 this area, and I can lock it in place. Click it once to lock it in place, and once it's locked in place, you're good to go. On-screen programming. Well, it doesn't matter what we're trading. We have students that are making a fortune on our calls on gold, and the time frames aligning on gold. Not only did the daily flip over and move down, my weekly is turning over, headed lower, and my monthly is engaging down. So again, gold is expected to make a run toward its previous low of 1077 and below, depending on what platform you're in. It might vary slightly, but we're expecting a new test of the low and then continuation below that, heading down towards 1,000 and below. Price is starting to confirm its intentions by taking out critical previous levels of support and resistance. And all this can be manually set through the trade management system by just going to the chart expert advisor, setting up my take profits 1, 2, 3, and then setting whether I want to trade trigger long, trigger short, slingshots, etc., etc. And in this case, I'm going to show you this. This is what we call a bracket order, different than the pending order. So let me switch over here to this platform where I ran this breakout this morning during non-form payroll here. And I set this up during non-form payroll. It was about 7:15, 7:20 local time. And we were getting ready for the big non-form payroll release. I was watching the euro here basically chopping sideways. And at the time I came to the chart seeing it range the low of 108.30 to a high of about 108.90, basically a 60 pip zone. And as we move closer and closer to the big release time of 7:30, I noticed price was hovering right around 108.60. So I went to my templates folder. I simply added the template for your ease of use. And I went out to this bracket order template here, Ichimoku bracket order. I set that up, and then I simply went into my expert advisor, and I set my parameters. I set the number of lots, my take profits, 1, 2, 3, and then down here is where I enter where do we want potentially to go long, and where do we potentially want to go short. So because price was hovering at 108.60 area, I set a take long trade at 108.80. I set a short trade at 108.40. And once I put this parameter in there and go OK, all I need to do is one-click process. While it says trade in progress here, it'll say click and drag to trade. So you click it, you slide it over, and then it'll pop in a short trade with a pending short here at 104, 108.40 and below, and then it'll pop in a long trade at 108.80 and long. And then when non-form payroll was released a few minutes later, it popped to the downside, and check it out. It took profit 1 at 63 pips, took profit 2 at 75 pips, and we're sitting here up 100 pips, basically 98, 99 range. And we're waiting for this to stair step down further in the coming days. I moved my take profit 3 down in the 104 area because that's the area the euro has had a previous swing point low. Right? So all this is automated by a few clicks of a button, and I can set it up in advance. So that bracket order, as I showed you a moment ago, you can set it to take profit triggers. You can set it to enter on trigger short, trigger long. You can set it to enter on slingshots. You can set it to now breakout and even bracket orders. And as I go over here to my euro dollar chart, just where I do some of my teachings, a little Elliott wave thrown in the mix, we're starting to take out 108. So now that we're taking out this 108 previous low, the next target of interest is going to be that 104.61, which as I go to my weekly, we can see that 104.61 represents my swing point low during this correction phase. Now we're at downtrend continuation. So I can continue to let that run based on a monthly flipping over, a weekly pushing down, and a daily pushing down. And it's very simple. How cool is that? So part of the new automated system is we have a total of 4 different trade management systems. Why 4? Well, there's different occurrences that we would use for the different types of trade setup. So as I showed you a moment ago, during a news release, you would use a bracket order template. Why the bracket order? Because during release, we will have an area of a high and a low, a range in which price is in. And many of you know during a big release like non-farm payroll, price starts to freeze up right near the release because people are just anxious to know, excuse me, is it going to be good news for the dollar and price will go lower on the euro dollar? Is it going to be bad news for the as far as non-farm payroll so that the euro could grind higher? And as it starts to freeze up, that's where you get your high and a low, and that's why we use a bracket order to then go in and tell the system, hey, I want you to go long above this level and I want you to go short above this level. I don't know any of you if you may have tried to trade a news release, but your fingers aren't quick enough to enter a short trade or a buy trade as fast as this automated system does it. It entered, even in that big explosion, it entered right where I told it to. I don't know if you can see this at home, but clearly it says 108.40. That was my entry. And you can see it took profits one at 63 pips. Well, that's because my initial setup said take profits at 35 pips. But by the time it first hit that level, it had blew past it to 63 pips before it could take profit. How quickly that happened. And it not only took profit 1, but it went on to 75 pips, which was my take profit 2 level, and it banked that for us. And our stop loss, as we just showed you, is into profit, so it can no longer lose, turn this winning trade into a losing trade because my stop loss is in profit. And all this is managed automatically.
That's fantastic.
It's unbelievably fantastic. So the reason we have the others is my breakout strategy is when I trade, say, the London session, and I know during the first hour of trading it's a very popular trading strategy, London breakout, so I can then tell it in advance. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? I don't need to sit here until 2 o'clock in the morning. London opens 3 a.m. United States Central Time, and I go, okay, now I have a high and a low, and manually put in a pending long and a pending short. It does it by 1 click of the mouse, and I'm simply going to pop in automatically. So again, I could do this at 6, 7 o'clock at night, and it'll be armed and ready to go. So as the hours count down into the first hour of London, first hour of London opens and then closes, it will automatically pop in that high and that low, as you see by the red for the high and green for the low. And then ultimately, once it pops those in, it pops in a pending long and a pending short. And then once price moves below the low, it enters short, or it moves above the high, it enters long. Well, guess what else we have to offer? Talking about customization. What happens when we're in a strong downtrend and we're really not interested in these strong downtrends necessarily to buy during a little retracement? We're more interested in, as they call, sell the rallies in a downtrend. Well, check this out. Not only have we thought of everything, but in the case where I'm seeing my trend momentum in PAI, etc., that are all moving lower monthly, weekly, daily, I can set the next London session and tell it down here when I put that information in, it says breakout trigger long, I can change to false. What does that mean? That means if I'm in this situation and I change it, which it's going to tick back on and show back up in a second because I made a change to it, but it will then go in during the next London open and close. I'll have a high and I'll have a low. And then when the candle closes, this is designated for the new first hour of London trading during the next London session. But when price goes on to pop the high, it will not enter a long trade. It will not put a pending long. It will only leave a pending short. So during strong downtrends, there's times where it could maybe enter long and then reverse and go down. But based on the direction, we're expecting further downside. So now I can basically tell my breakout, believe it or not, I can tell my breakout to only sell the rallies in the downtrend. Everybody clear on that? So how easy is that? So yes, I can set it pending long, pending short. If one enters, it cancels the other. And in a strong trend is your friend, I can still set it in advance, but the next time around I can say, well, look, even if you rally up a little bit above the high, I'm not interested in that long trade because I want to sell that rally and go to the short side. So it'll go up and then come down and enter your short trade once it breaks the low. How cool is that? So it's completely customizable across the board for you to buy dips in an uptrend, sell rallies in a downtrend, do bracket orders where you know, like the Euro news release, where a high and a low level is, or you can do it during a breakout session during London and set it in advance. The old method would, I'd have to stay up all night, and when the first hour of London gave me a high and a low, I would manually go in and pop a pending long and manually go in and pop a pending short, and then once it finally sitting there in front of my computers for hours, it finally enters one trade or the other, then I would have to manually go back in and cancel the other order while we let the one that entered do its job. Well, all this is done by a simple click of a button. Simple click of a button. That's all it takes. See when it says click and ready to trade? I simply click that, drag it over, and it'll arm it based on that information. And then it could pop in long and shorts as we see it's doing right here as an illustration. Everybody saw what it just did? Popped in a long and a short, and it'll sit here until price either goes down to enter the short or it goes up to enter the long.
It says ready to trade.
And it tells you ready to trade now. It's just waiting to be active. How cool is that? One click, it did all the work for me. And I could do this well in advance, or I can do it as it's unfolding, any way I choose. How cool is that? And if I change my mind, well, I don't want to do that, then I can simply just change it up and say pending order. I can go over here and click ready. Whoops, let me move that to close it, and then cancel that order. And as soon as it does that, once it ticks, it'll cancel that order instantly and efficiently. So regardless if I want to do a bracket order based on a news release, or I want to do a pending order based on that breakout during London. And some people say, well, what about if I want to do it during the US session? Same principle. I designate what candle I want to know the high and the low of, and I designate which one it takes pending long and pending short based on that candle's high and low. And it can be done in advance before it's even ready to go.
In case you want to trade stocks.
And if you want to trade stocks, after the first hour, you get a high and a low, and you're an intraday stock trader, you can set the same thing on a stock so that when it breaks the high, it can go long, or breaks the low, it can go short. All right? So again, no matter how we slice this, we have automated system that will help us through the process over and over and over. And then here's this crude. Anybody trade crude oil out there? Here's one based on crude that I entered, and it's managing my trade. I'm up big. Not only did we do a lot of these breakouts on currency pairs, but here's a trade currently running on black gold Texas T Beverly Hillbillies, and we're up over 10 grand on this simple trade that's entering, and we're taking profits along the way. It's very quick and easy. As the account history shows, successful trades, current trade running shows successful trade, and we're expecting to take further profits as black gold stair steps down. And back to the same question at hand. How do you feel and know so confidently that price is going to continue to unfold further down? Because my daily is turning over, starting to cross back to the downside. We have a trend momentum crossing down. We have the PAI pushing down. And as we go through the time frames, my weekly starting to turn over as well, right? It's turning over. So that bodes well for further downside on black gold. And here it is being managed, so I'm at no risk. I can certainly move my stop loss deeper and deeper in the profit. I can do whatever I want to do as it's on-screen programming, lock it into place, and now I'm set. Now, we did mention about the Ichimoku. And there are times, I don't know if many of you know anything about this, but it's a standard, one of the top trading strategies out there. And this is so interesting that now I can use a series of trade management systems. Notice in the templates, we have the Ichimoku bracket order, breakout, instant, pending. I can set any one of these to trade automatically. Not only can I do that, I can still tell it to buy a slingshot lower like this, or I can have a trigger to sell it lower, a trigger to buy. All this is automated based on the cycling time frames and how the system is setting up for these big trades. Well, there are times when we made a nice chunk of this when we were range bound and we set a bracket order live in class, and we said, look, if it goes up, we're going to want to go long. If it goes down, we want to go short. And sure enough, it broke the short, made us a huge trade to the downside. We did it again over here as we had a bracket order. We knew based on structure, I even told us in the class, look, it's going to make a run back to 50 and above, then it's going to reverse and start coming down. And most recently during this week's class, I told everyone, look, price is going higher, expect it to go to 48 and then reverse and start heading back down. It went to 48.32 and reversed. While it was climbing and it was like 45, 46 range, I said, watch for black gold to go up to 48 and then reverse and slingshot down in advance. And I was able to set the trade management system accordingly to take that trade. So whether you trade stocks, futures, commodity, Forex, doesn't matter. You can utilize this software to your advantage. And what's a big advantage, ladies and gentlemen, is that once it's managing the trade, I don't have to worry about being attached to money. Everybody heard the term attachment to money? Well, that's when you're in a trade and you see you're up big and all of a sudden it starts to reverse and you start hyperventilating. Well, if the time frames are saying monthly, weekly, daily, etc., saying down, then part of that retracement is expected. It needs to breathe so the lower time frames can go from oversold back towards overbought. Then they flip over back in the direction of the higher trend. Well, how did I know this daily was going to start slingshotting, push lower? Because my weekly was pushing down, forcing the daily to depressurize and then slingshot and turn over. So again, it doesn't matter what I'm trading. Russell 2000, indices, stocks, commodities, does not matter. I can set the same principle across the board. S&P and why Ichimoku? Because if those of you that know it, know that when price comes down on the cloud, it should bounce. Well, we could set a pending order sitting here to say, hey, I want to buy this when price hits this cloud because I expect a bounce. Not only just because it hits the cloud, but you go across here, it's former resistance, turn support, back to support. Of course it should bounce off of that area. And I told that I'm in class utilizing the Ichimoku, and I said based on this pullback, look for it to make a run towards 2080 and bounce off of 2080. If it went any lower, it would go no lower than 2075, then bounce and start to make a little rally. Any futures traders out there? Futures traders die and go to heaven when they get a point or two. We diagnose and utilize the software to produce 10 point, 20 point, 50 point, 100 point moves on the S&P by simply utilizing the multiple time frames in the direction of the trend, and as they cycle, they exhibit very specific behavior. Why would we slingshot up and fail, slingshot up and fail? Because it's going against the trend at the moment, as my daily is turning over. So when my daily is turning over and headed lower, the 4 hour should do that exact behavior, and that's exactly what it's done so far. And I have a weekly currently still pushing up, so guess what we're going to do? As I told my students, hey, buy daily slingshots over and over and over and over and expect higher highs. I have a student that loves Elliott Wave. When I talked about Elliott Wave, he goes, Gary, it's amazing. All the Elliottians are saying the Dow's topping and reversing, it's topping and reversing. Well, it's going to do it here. I said, no, it's not. It's going to do it here. No, it's not. It's going to do it here. No, it's not. It's going to do it here. No, it's not. Now we're in the midst. Is this the one, or is it still going to go higher? Well, my daily will give me insight whether we're going to get a new higher high or not. When this engages back up, if my weekly is still pushing up and not turning over, right? Still pushing up and not turning over, then we're going to expect the S&P to bounce and make another high. If when perhaps it does engage up, this is turning over, then those of you that trade futures, we can still buy that, but I'm going to expect a price pattern reversal, a high, a low, and a lower high. That's what a failed slingshot is all about. When it engages up and makes a high, low, and a lower high, then turns over and heads back down. That will give me my high, low, lower high, lower low. So I will know when I have a top and reversal based on some signs and symptoms. Daily slingshot up, combined failing to make a higher high, combined with the weekly turning over, then yes, guess where the S&P is going to go? Best case scenario is going to come back and retest 1850, go down to 1830, and very likely to go below that, and that's under the bullish scenario. So we cover it all in class. We go through the process and we give potential wave counts if you're into that sort of thing. But regardless, we call the line of progression to tell you how to trade it. And if this ends up happening to be a top and reversal, best case scenario, we're going to go back to that 1850, 1830, and high probability we're going to go below that. Worst case scenario, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey, and we have a massive market crash. And the next thing we're looking at is, uh-oh, here's a 1, here's an A, there's a B, and this is the big market crash, and we're coming all the way back down and revisiting this A and below 665. It's going to take market crashes along the way, but it will give us signs and symptoms as we continue to watch price action. And one key level that will ultimately differentiate the two, whether it's a simple retracement before another higher high, or is this the big one I'm coming down, is whether or not we break 1350 area. Why that? That's part of my Elliott wave rules of a 1, 2, 3. My wave 4 can't go into wave 1. But you don't need to know and master Elliott wave. All you need to be able to do is look at this software and take seconds to go, okay, I got a weekly up. I got a monthly engaging up at the moment. That doesn't bode well for a top and reversal yet. What does? Weekly turning over, monthly turning and hooking out. That says we're going down at 1850, 1830, or even much lower. But as long as my weekly remains up, which it is for now, my daily is going to exhibit this behavior. When it gets to overbought, it's going to slingshot higher. And then it's going to depressurize, slingshot higher, depressurize, slingshot higher, depressurize, slingshot higher, and it's in the midst of doing that now. So keep an eye on this, that this 2080/2075 area is imperative, and it's very strong support because yes, it's a battle zone, former support, turn resistance, turn support, but Ichimoku says it's a range for my goal line to hold a support, and it's the top of the cloud on the 4-hour. So Gary, what's the strategy? If you have the software, you will know in advance that we're looking to buy the S&P when this daily turns and hooks up. How do I know when that's going to happen? It happens when this 4-hour starts to finish its cycle down and turns back up. As we can see in these previous slingshots higher and higher, it's when the 4-hour was down and turns back up. Was down, turns back up. Was down, turns back up. Was down, turns back up. That's my slingshot higher, slingshot higher, slingshot higher, higher, etc. So any questions as far as how we go about teaching and instructing the software? I give you visual pictures. I paint the Picasso, as I like to call it. I tell you in advance what the software is going to look like when price starts to move in either direction and what it's going to do in advance. So you combine knowing what it should do in advance to setting some trade management systems in advance, and the two give us huge, massive gains on trading. So no matter how we slice this, well, what else do you have besides the trade management system? That's just the beginning of many other things we also offer in this software. We offer, let me see, I believe it's in this platform. 1 second, I'll flip over and show you. We offer 2 different scanners. We have 2 different scanners for your viewing pleasure. This is called the Premium Edition 3 scanner. This is where I can tell it to scan stocks, futures, commodities. I basically tell it what symbols I want the scanner to scan. So these would be of interest. These are the ones I'm interested in. I love to trade Forex. So I put the common Forex pairs in here, and it tells me when I have the trends heading up, when I have the trends heading down, when those slingshot phenomenons are forming and or engaging, and when the trigger phenomenon is forming, engaging, and triggering. Whether they're forming, engaging, triggering up, forming, engaging down, triggering down, the direction of the trend, everything, is here at your fingertips. All right? And then we also offer a Slice of Heaven Finder, which is where I can simply have it scan every hour on the hour all my levels, as I switch to this one, all the different symbols I'm interested in, whether it's future, stock, commodity, Forex, and it'll scan through and tell me based on my time frames what is setting up for the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. It's completely customizable, ladies and gentlemen. So if I want some of those big trades, I can then go to this scanner time frame and tell it, hey, instead of doing a daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, I want you to do a monthly, weekly, and daily. So I would just set it to the monthly, and it would start to scan, looking at all the different symbols to see when a monthly's setting up and when my weekly and daily are setting up. Or I can do weekly, daily, 4 hour. Or for scalpers, I can go up and do 15, 5, 1 minute, an hour, 30, 15, etc. So it's automatically in here, and it simply allows me to customize, and it will scan accordingly based on what symbols are listed in the market watch. So you got these two scanners that set up these big trades. You know that slide I showed you a moment ago, 8,600 pips and 18,311 pips? That was based off of the scanner, and then going simply from the scanner, we go to the chart, and we say, from the Slice of Heaven Finder right there, Slice of Heaven Finder 3, we simply go from there to a chart, and then we say, okay, based on this finding, Apple looks like it's going to give us a little pullback, and we're about to form a little slingshot back up on a 4 hour, so it allows me to know where the cycling time frames are on Apple or any other symbol for that matter. So I believe I've piqued your interest. I should have, at least for somewhat, piqued your interest. This is the fanciest software you've ever seen in your life. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to my wife, and she'll review with you what offers we have for you today.
Okay, now Gary walked you briefly through. As we said, we have covered so much in this new software. I mean, we didn't leave anything on the table. We absolutely thought of every minute detail. And that takes a lot of time, thought, effort, and resources, and we don't skimp on anything that we do. We're very proud of that. When we do something, we do it right, or we don't do it at all. Our motto here at GPA Trading Services is the best, and we say best in caps, B-E-S-T, or nothing. And our students that have been with us for many, many years can attest to that. They know that's true. When we put our mind to something, that's the way we do it. As Gary said, we have, and what's so great is that we have been able to automate all these different things for you. For those of you that cannot spend a lot of time in front of the charts, but you do enjoy trading, it is nice to be able to have these automated features. And so, as we said, we put a lot of time, thought, and effort into bringing those to you. And just here is a list of what Gary covered for you. The automated breakout trading system, the automated bracket trading system, the Ichimoku automated trading, the MPA PE3 market scanner, which, you know, what's another thing that's so wonderful is you can customize everything. You truly can customize it to your type of trading. The scanner, the Slice of Heaven Finder, all of those you can input what you would like it to scan. As long as it's located in the market watch, you can set it up and it will scan your particular areas of interest. Then we have the slingshot trade triggers. Those are take profit triggers, those are entry triggers, various different triggers, and then the slingshots, which Gary briefly touched on. Slingshots are a very interesting phenomenon, and when you join us, you'll learn that into great detail. and the trade management system, which manages all your trades from entry to exit. That's priceless.
You have 4 of them.
Absolutely priceless. And as Gary said, we have 4 of those. Now, we have a Master Trader program that our students are involved in and live by, count on daily. We have the software, the live trading classes, and the trade alerts. That makes up our MPA PE3 Master Trader program. It is a complete program, so everything is included in that program, right? And that is, we will have that as our special offer number 1. For those of you, this really is a priceless program. I mean, it covers everything. So you not only get the class instruction on the software, which is invaluable, but you also, Gary goes over trade alerts while we're in class, and he says, okay, we're looking at this, it's setting up, you know, students can ask questions, we cover everything. So it is a very, very comprehensive program, and that is all of our students are enrolled in this Master Trader program. Now, also we decided that this time we would offer the software only. So if you are not interested in class and trade alerts, which, you know, we highly recommend, but if you just want to do the software only, we did put that out as an offer as well. All right. And I didn't go over the bonuses. Let me go back and go over the bonuses on our Master Trader program, because we're being very generous as we're approaching Thanksgiving. And so we said, well, let's put together some nice bonuses that everyone can be very thankful for. So bonus number 1 is we will do a how to make the most out of the Master Trader program webinar, which will walk you through from A to Z. Invaluable. Absolutely invaluable. And then we decided, well, how about we do some special coaching classes for our annual members. So we will do a special coaching class per month, 1 class a month throughout, that will carry you throughout the year, which is very wow worthy. Very, very wow worthy. And you can ask questions, and you know, for all of you that are annuals, you are welcome to join us. And if you can't join us, of course, those classes will be recorded, but that is a very big, huge bonus. Then we went on to say, well, let's just go ahead and add 2 months, complimentary months to your membership. Huge, absolutely huge. And then number 4, our regular annual membership rate is typically, as listed on our website, $49.97, but as I said, we were being generous and very excited about our new software, so we are doing a special offer rate of $35.64. If you average that out with the 2 months extra included, that is a little over $200 a month. And I mean, that's just unheard of. To get software like this, which I can guarantee you've never seen anything like this comprehensive, very unique, one-of-a-kind custom software. To have access to the software, classes, and trade alerts for a little over $200 a month is really unbelievable. Absolutely. And then, offer number 2, you have the webinar, the highly informative webinar from A to Z on the software. This time you have 4 coaching classes, which is phenomenal. The 2 months membership, and that special rate is normally $24.97. Special offer $19.97. That's just a little over $100 a month. I can't even believe it. I really cannot believe it. I mean, this is huge. These are 2 huge, and I will say huge in caps, offers. So those of you that are serious about trading, I know there's a lot of dabblers out there, and you can dabble yourself to death. And if you go back and look at a dabbler and you say, well, how have you progressed over the years? Well, really haven't. I'm still stuck in a rut because I dabbled myself to death. You know, we say good luck and Godspeed to those. But those of you that are seriously interested in progressing, finally, if you've been stagnant and you've never really progressed, but you are finally ready to commit and progress as a trader and really learn how to do it right, those are the ones that we're talking to, and those are the ones that we work with. As I said, our students have been around for many, many moons. Gary's been a professional trader for well over a decade plus, and we've been teaching students. So, you know, we know what we're doing and we do it well, and our students can attest to that. So for those of you that are serious about it, we would love to have you come on board. As I said, this is a comprehensive program, and you will learn a tremendous amount. You'll learn more than your payment in the first webinar, because Gary is so thorough and explicit, and he's fun, entertaining, but he's serious, and he covers it all. So we welcome you to click on these two different links and join us. And I'd like to say a welcome to those of you that have already joined us. Some people went ahead and joined us before we even conducted today's webinar. As soon as the email went out before we even did today's webinar, they joined us, and we want to give those people a big congratulations and bravo to you. Thank you so much. And for those of you that are going to join us now, we say you're making the best decision of your life, and we're thrilled to have you. Okay? So if you have any questions, let's put them out there now. We'll try to answer them. And we say thank you so much for joining us. We want to say thank you for joining us. And our motto, let's put our motto for our software: Market Price Anticipator software truly empowers you to read and anticipate price in any financial market, on time, in time, all the time. And we stand firmly behind that. And also, we're proud to boast we have a beautiful world map on our website, and every time we get a new student, their country flag is represented on our world map. And look at that gorgeous, beautiful world map. So we say GPA Trading Services, educating the world. And look at all those gorgeous flags we have from around the world. Very, very exciting. 111 countries and counting. Very, very exciting. All right. So if you have any questions, let's type them in, and Gary will answer those technical questions for you if you have any questions. If not, if you don't have any questions, here are the links. Click on the link and pop on in and join us. No better gift to give yourself is to join us and become a successful trader. All right? So thank you so much, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to Gary, and he's going to close it up. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for your time and attention. Upon signing up, you'll have instant access to download the software, have instant access to educational modules, how-to videos, and those of you that take advantage of our Master Trader program, we actually have classes scheduled for next week starting Sunday night, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for live classes. So some additional classes, and of course you do, whether you take the software only or the Master Trader program, you're going to get your special coaching classes and additional 2 months complimentary access to your subscription. So are there any questions regarding the software? Again, we can go back and show it to you again if you prefer. Spend some time on the scanner, whatever you want to talk about. We have a few moments for you. But again, you can see that this is scanning live as it's moving from the euro pound to the odd yen. All right, there we go. It's moving from the euro pound to odd yen. And in just a second, I'll click over the pound yen. And notice this is gold. It's going to go to this one. It'll turn yellow or gold as it moves from one to the next. So it's scanning, looking for the latest direction of the trend momentum PAI. It's looking for the latest triggers that are firing, and either up or down, and looking for the latest slingshot formations, whether they're forming and in this case engaging. When it engages, it's bolded. When it's forming, like down here we showed you the euro was engaging, it's bolded, etc. So there you have it at your fingertips. And as my wife mentioned, the scanner does not just only do currencies. I can tell it in whatever symbol I want to add to it. I can have some currency, some stock, some index, black, gold, Texas tea, whatever I want in here, and I can load those so I constantly have that monitored. And then of course the Slice of Heaven Finder 3 is where we simply allow the scanner to scan through literally hundreds of symbols, or I can customize that list of symbols within the market watch to say, well, I'm not interested in all stocks or all forex pairs. Then I can do a subset of those by going in and changing the list, and then let it scan only the interest that I have in particular stocks and or commodities, ETFs, you name it. And once that arises, then you simply just pull up your chart and you add that template to that specific symbol, and then you go to town by using breakouts, brackets, Ichimoku, or you can manually trade, of course. What happens if I'm at my computer and I see a perfect setup, I'm ready to go, then I can just instantly sell and enter my short trade.
So we've covered it all.
Totally covered it all. I'd like to say again, thank you for your time and attention today. And we've already had several members sign up. I see the orders going through, so I want to thank you. And again, thanks to you for attending, and thanks to all of those that join us. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.